Welcome to 40 Below Zero, an international podcast about life with invisible illnesses, hosted by two guys living with multiple sclerosis. Coming to you from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, I'm your co-host Nix, and with me on this ride is Terry, a Londoner who calls Ontario home. We're so happy you're here with us as we continue to try and normalize a life that is anything but. So let's get into it. Welcome back, Warriors. Hope everyone's doing well. Terry, it's been another week. Anything exciting happen to you?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. So many
Always.
things happening. I just can't remember right now. I'll let you know during the show, I'm sure.
Okay, sounds about right. We have a guest with us this evening. Who do we got?
We got Alisa Perry.
Ooh,
She,
we know her well from group.
Dude, she's one of our biggest fans. I really I appreciate you because you're always shouting our name out wherever I am. And I'm not even the one doing it. When someone asks me before I say anything, she's there, 40 below zero. So I appreciate her, man. Yeah, she's awesome. She's another MSer.
Mm-hmm.
And what else can I say about you, Alisa? Tell me.
Good question. I met you during a wonderful time at home exercise program, and that was amazing. And since then, I have been, a fan. Actually, shouldn't say that. I was a late adopter to listening to your podcast. I'm sorry, but once I did, I just listened to it over and over again.
That's
Not an
quite all right.
obsessed fan. I'm not obsessed, I promise, even though I know, no.
You should be. She's part of the time program, by the way. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's an acronym that's Together in Movement. No, Together in Movement and Exercise.
Gotcha.
So she runs it. She's one of the facilitators for that.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that was that a pandemic thing, or
Yeah.
was that always a way to keep in contact and keep in motion while
I'm
we were all
pretty sure
stuck
it was
at
a
home?
pandemic. Yeah. So I'm pretty
I
sure
think,
it was a pandemic thing because
yeah.
we couldn't get out to do anything. When did you start, Terry?
I started during the pandemic too, but I don't know if it was before, but I'm pretty sure it was during COVID. So yeah, but I got to meet a lot of people because of time as well, other than the groups that I facilitate. But yeah, and it's pretty cool because time program, Alisa, you know this, I've said this too many times. I work out 3 days a week and it's pretty much the same workout, just a little more intense. So I respect that there's time program. The only bad thing about the time program is there's no one physically there to tell you you're doing
That's
that
true.
wrong. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, right?
Absolutely. But it's so nice to just not have to go anywhere, honestly.
So here's my question, Terry. You say you work out 3 extra days a week. What do those workouts look like?
You know
What do
what,
you-
man? I do band work a lot.
Oh,
It's
okay, that
not
makes
with
sense.
weights. I mean, I work on weights here and there, but it's very safe workouts because he's not in front of me either. So he's always like, I need you to be careful because I can't run over to you and pick you up.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I've actually messed with him before. I'm like, oh my God, I pretended to fall. And when he found out I was joking, he said, I'm not working you out if you do that to me again.
Oh, yeah.
Pissed off with me. And I'm like, bro, you know I love you, man. I don't mean to scare you. But there's one thing I don't know if Elisa knows. I'm going to play something we got with Brian Sosha. We've
Oh,
talked about
yeah.
him before. I have to. Okay.
Go ahead.
We're not plugging him because we're
Right.
not going to
Well, we
let
are.
him know, but whatever. But it's pretty cool. On his podcast, he heard the fact that we were talking about him and he plugged us. And I want to play maybe a minute of that. If that's okay
Yeah,
with you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Doesn't matter if you're okay with it. I'm going to do it anyway.
You didn't have it queued up, Terry? Oh my
Oh,
God.
it's right here. Watch this, man. Watch this.
Back. What about this? This is cool. There's a podcast, and I want to play a clip for you really quick. They were giving us a quick plug about our show. I think this is so cool. Check this out.
If you're into combat sports, check out BKFC. It's pretty awesome. Terry and I love it. We watch it every week.
YouTube live on Tuesdays at noon, right?
Yep, live Tuesdays at noon
Yeah,
on
that was
on
another
YouTube.
shameless
It doesn't
plug.
matter. It's recorded. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another plug.
Another plug. So they do a cool podcast. The reason I wanted to bring this up too is they watch all the time. There's a guy from Canada. We're going to be in Edmonton. Don't forget. Make sure you look that up. He probably already knows that. His name's Terry. And there's Nick, and I think Kit was on there too. Now, Nick, I don't know all the details, but he I guess, got multiple sclerosis. Got it. Like it was, he has multiple sclerosis at a very young age, and I believe the other guys does too. And it's a podcast all about that and living with it. It's pretty interesting. You should check it out. It's the 4T Below Zero podcast. You can find them on Instagram. Support them. They love the product. They watch the show every week. They tell us, so we appreciate that. And I also actually spoke to one of the guys. I FaceTimed with one of them. It was New Year's Eve, and if you listen to the show where we clipped this from, apparently his wife was saying it like changed his life. It was amazing for him. I feel very bad for you that speaking to me changed your life. But thank you, Terry. We appreciate you guys.
All right. That's enough. Let me just start with, I don't have a wife. She is with me, and we are together. We're not married. And I respect Brian, bro. And
I
it's
know.
the fact that he heard Katrina say that I was so shocked and everything, and all of a sudden he's changed my life. You know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
He's
that.
he's a cool
He's
guy.
a really cool guy, man. Yeah. So
That's
that's
Terry.
that.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
start to the show.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Alisa, for letting us play that to you. What do you think of that, Alisa?
I think that's great. I love shameless plugs. No, it wasn't shameless. It was full of shame.
Definitely.
Not
Okay.
that
So,
nervous.
welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
It's
Hi.
about time you're here.
Right? And now I'm nervous and I'm all
No,
clammy
dude.
and weird.
Dude, I'm always nervous, dude. You're fine.
Good. Good.
I want to. You're cool. Our relationship through time, through everything, we bond really well because we understand each other. I don't know if it's the whole MS thing, but we don't really talk about MS a lot. You know, we just talk about life and laugh and don't take it so serious, you know? I have some questions for you. I've never asked you. Just
Okay.
curious.
Awesome.
Before you got diagnosed, we'll go to your story if you want. You can tell your story. I have no problem with that. But before you were diagnosed, did you go on Google and check out what you were going through at all? Dr. Google?
I did. I did. It was back in 2003. And I hadn't heard of it before. I just thought it was one of those letter diseases, you know. It was like MS, MD, like I didn't know what any of them were. But when I went to my neuro-ophthalmologist, and he's the one, he became mine. He was just a stranger then, but I went home and Googled. Very shocking, of course, as anybody, and there's so much information there that you don't know what is what. But no, I didn't know anything about it beforehand.
So with the symptoms that you had, you never Googled it before you even found out you had MS? Did you have symptoms before and you were like, what is
No,
this? And
no, I never put it together, strangely, because of course, like with all of us, different weird things happened over many decades. And things just got better. And because I didn't have a GP, I didn't have anybody tracking anything. Not that it sounds like it might have made a difference, because it is such a difficult disease, or it was, to diagnose. So the first thing I heard was go to, out here in BC, you go to the UBC, University of British Columbia Hospital, like they have the MS clinic there. And so he said, I'm going to send you there. And then from that point, I started just going and doing what I was told and learning about it, and went to the MS Society, which at first kind of really scared me because there were a lot of people that were quite disabled there. And so it really scared me. And I didn't really want to go and do too many functions or anything through there, because there's some very, very sad stories. But I didn't get to meet too many people. I didn't join any support groups. So COVID is a bad, terrible thing. But during COVID, it opened up my world massively, because suddenly there's so many things available that weren't available before. Now I could do them at home, like the time program, the exercise, but also the support. Because after time, of course, it was like a mini support group, but not really, very little chats. And that really drew me in, made me realize that I was more lonely than I thought I was, because I thought, oh, I have people. I don't want to just sit around talking about MS. I'm more than MS. What are we going to do? But found, listening to other people's ideas and what happened to them, I suddenly was like, oh my goodness, like I'm so lonely for people who understand me. You just get so used to hiding stuff or just not talking about it because people just don't
Totally.
know anything. And I mean, we talk about this all the time. Everybody knows somebody who has MS. Like I remember one day after I stopped working and I ran into a fellow at work from work who I always went out of my way, to help. But this guy's like, when are you coming back to work? And I said, oh, well, when they cure MS. Maybe it was a bad answer, but he goes, oh, well, my sister has MS. She's okay. She
Yeah.
works.
Trigger.
I was just, it was like it was a smack in the face. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I feel like a dirtbag, like, and it took me years to feel not guilty.
I
Like I
com-
felt so bad. Pardon?
I completely I completely know how that feels. For a very long time, I worked with the guy, and I've talked about him on the show, and he was diagnosed. And 3 months later, he was back to work. And then I got diagnosed and I never returned to work. And for a very long time, I was beating myself up like, there's no way that I'm sicker than he is. I just can't be because I feel okay. And, you know, and then you just have to, I just got to this point where I had to be okay with the fact that we had different paths, I guess. And for as much as Terry and I preach that everybody's different and it affects everybody differently and you can't compare one person to the next, all I was doing at the very early stages was comparing myself to everybody that I knew who had it. So
So did you okay, so you didn't know what MS was before you got diagnosed. When you got diagnosed, how long until you started meeting people with MS?
It was quite some time, actually. I think going to the neurologist office was the first time. I actually ended up taking it might have been later on. So it was quite a while before I actually got to sit down and talk to anybody with MS.
Wow.
Honestly, yeah, it was just, I had my world, I'm just a normal person with a normal, it sounds stupid now to me, but yeah, didn't want to have an MS life, whatever
yeah,
that means. But it's it's really amazing how you don't know what you're missing. I mean, I've had some people in my life, I've met people with MS and similar problems that I've heard from you guys before, which is, even though they have MS, they don't understand you. So you get that comparison thing back and forth from them. And sometimes, and we all go through different periods with this. I know this, but sometimes, like, I've been involved with people who maybe they just got diagnosed and they start freaking out and they're all thinking of the bad. It's like telling me to go and look at, some video and saying, like, look how bad that can be, and all the bad statistics of things. And I'm like, look, I can't, like, I can't, I'm sorry, I have a certain amount of
Mhm.
denial that I have in my life, which I need to survive. Like, I
yeah.
just have to live now, right? It's like
Yeah.
I can't live there at the worst. So I had a little bit of trouble feeling comfortable with other MS people after that, because I was like, am I going to end up in a hole of despair? Because we're fragile. I'm fragile. Like,
Me
I
too.
find myself, like, I'm here, right on the edge of, like, I keep myself happy and in a perfect state of denial so that I don't think about the worst things, and I
Mhm.
can try to keep positive. But if I'm surrounded by more of the negative, it really can take me down.
You know what? I talk to a lot of people and I get along with the ones who are accepting that they have MS because I know a lot of people I'm like, you're still in denial and I can't really talk to you because you're not as open as I am or Alisa or my other family, because MSers who accept are more open and it's never TMI. Do you understand what I mean by TMI? Like,
Yeah.
and that's a topic I want to talk about. When is it TMI with us? Is it ever TMI? Because I'm pretty sure I've said it all.
I don't think, I don't think we've gone as far down the rabbit hole as you could possibly go, but we've gone a lot farther than most have. So when you and I are talking with each other, I think we have that level of comfort that we just don't care, and we know that you and I aren't gonna not be friends if we
But we're
start talking.
friends.
Did I not make that payment this month?
Awesome.
So I think there is a level of TMI for non-MSers.
Right.
I think people without MS get uncomfortable when we start talking about certain things that we're like, yeah, it's no big deal. Like when when you talk about all your bathroom escapades.
I don't have bathroom escapades. All right.
No,
Yes, I do.
you've
Okay.
never spoken about it. Um,
Yeah.
but
And
I think once you get to the acceptance phase, there is no TMI because it's just your life, and you just know there's nothing you can do about it.
yeah, and you're more comfortable talking to someone that accepts it
Hmm.
rather than someone saying, um, just don't think about it right now. And it's like, no, you don't understand. It's my life. Isn't it your life as well? Isn't it always on your mind? And then sometimes they act like they're strong, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get along with people like that. I want people who are showing me their vulnerable side that, yeah, I have MS. Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, just stuff like that. I don't want this the strong-minded. Let's ignore it. It's fine. It's not taking me down. I'm not making sense. I'm just blabbing
Totally.
You
here.
are, you are.
Okay. Okay.
So, Lisa, what was what was an example of when you an early example of when you had to be vulnerable, but you weren't quite ready, but you ended up being like, I'm glad I said that
Um,
to put you absolutely on the spot.
I'm like, let me think of that for a moment. That question, like, what did you just say? When is the first or
Or
an early moment?
an early moment. For example, for me, it was the first time I talked in the group, in the support group. I was like, I'm about to say something that I wouldn't tell anybody else. And I don't know if I could trust these people because naturally you have that. Everybody has that.
Yeah,
Um, and then another time was when when Terry and I published the first episode of this
right.
show. I go back and listen to that and I just like cringe at
No, Nick was like, yo, Terry, check out the show. Let me know if I should edit anything. And I'm
yeah.
like, oh, it's fine, bro. He's like, did you even listen to it? I'm like, no, it's
No.
fine. I'm not listening to it. But now I have, by the way, I have gone to it. My
Mhm.
God, is it so cringy?
I know. I know. But that's okay. You got to start somewhere. It's fine.
Well, it's so interesting how, I mean, we all feel that about ourselves, right? But it's like when I listen and other people listen to it, it's like so relieving. I
Hmm.
can't tell you, like just hearing people tell the truth, it just makes you feel so good to, oh my God, I'm normal.
Hmm.
Right? And I agree. Like for me, it was certainly opening up to the group because it took me a long time. Like when I first started doing time at home, for instance, had my camera off and my voice off for a year. Didn't want to join in, nothing. And then I just slowly started in, and luckily, like the support, right? With Terry and Michelle, they were so casual and fun. I felt that they shared a similar sense of humor, so that really drew me in, I guess. And then it just slowly I started to talk. But it was a while, it because I didn't actually join any support group until last year, I think. And when I first talked, I mean, because I had been listening for so long too, so I felt like I had
Mhm.
an advantage. I knew what other people were sharing and how, it's amazing listening to other people be brave. And you go, well, they're saying things that are so personal. And I just, sort of yearn to tell my story because I was like, because I don't say it. Like I usually don't tell people anything because, you meet people, you don't want to push them away because it's happened to me, I'm sure. And I know it's happened to other people.
So wait, so what have you lost friends because
I
of the
have
MS?
my first best friend, when I first found out I had MS, she went on Google and came back to me and said, it's a nothing thing. it's just a fake thing. No, it's just so many symptoms. It's not a real thing.
Wow.
And that was my best friend at the time. And it was devastating, right? Because you're going through like, it's horrible, right?
Yeah.
And your best friend is like, not believe, no, it's not like she didn't believe me. She didn't believe it existed. So she really didn't believe me. And it was painful, but then you get scared. You may have had the same thing. I get scared of losing people. I lost family because people don't understand. And you just like, so I'm very similar to Terry in that way too. I moved away. So I didn't have to keep saying I can't come to the thing. I
Mm.
can't do that. It's too much for me. And pushing people away before they could push me away, maybe.
That
It
was
it
my
just
thing.
it's terrifying.
That was my
And you
thing.
feel bad because it's not your
Hmm.
fault, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
You
It
didn't
makes
do
me feel
anything.
good hearing
Or
that from you.
right?
Yeah, no, it makes me feel good you saying that because I'm not alone. I'm like, oh, I'm not the only one that did that. Yo, I pushed people before they even got close. I moved cities. Yo, we're very similar, and this is why we bonded. You
Yeah.
understand, and feels good.
I could not imagine with anyone that I love being like, I can no longer talk to you. Like I couldn't, I don't have the mentality of the other side of that. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think it's like that though. I don't think it's, hey, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I think you just drift slowly because
Yeah.
they give up on you and you're kind of happy. You're like, thank God you gave up on me because I don't have the courage to tell you I'm not who you think I am anymore. I'm done. I'm this different person. Because then people start to say, no, it's not over. It's like, yo, I didn't say it was over, but my old life is finished and now I'm retired. That's the life I try to live. I'm retired. I know I don't have the energy anymore. Like yesterday was rock climbing. I did not go. Dude, at nighttime, my body is done. And I don't want to have to explain to you because then I feel guilty. And then I go to Alisa and I'm like, yeah, I didn't go tonight. And Alisa's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself over it. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I feel guilty. I'm a failure. I'm not making people happy. I'm off that journey. I'm on my new journey with these friends of mine who've become family, who understand me, and I'm comfortable. Every day I'm comfortable and I'm loving life right now. Okay, enough about me, Alisa.
That's wonderful. I love that.
Yeah. So we always joke. Nick knows too. Nick's a joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me on this show. Everybody knows. Everybody comes here for my humor, Terry. Thank you.
You work so well together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes
sometimes
I'm joking. Yeah.
it's a strange world. I'm not saying you're strange. But yeah, exactly what you said about the drifting. It's the drifting. It's not like people said we don't want you around anymore. It's that all the gatherings are at night and there's always alcohol involved. And I drink and I fall. And, I have like a family. It's, you have a dynamic and it's like, no, come on, have a drink. Like I have some relatives that are like, and they don't understand, they don't, I mean, I won't go terribly on, but it's heartbreaking. You grow away and moving away makes it less painful because it, I'm not, no, if they listen to this, I'm going to be in trouble. No, I love them all very much, but I really have a hard time saying no so much. That's the
Right.
thing, because I had to keep saying no. And I am not the person I was. And I'll just keep talking because I'm going to take advantage of this
You
time I have. Ha!
yeah, you
So I
keep
was in
talking.
theater. I'm throwing it out there. See, now
Go.
it's going to be my show. I'm going to have my own show.
That's why you're here.
Right? I did theater before, and I had a major blow. I had MS. I didn't know it. I had different weird things that happened to me, but I didn't know anything about them. But I did theater. I did pretty well. I went to a school, a smaller school. Then I got into the National Theatre School of Canada, which was like the biggest deal of all. And it was a miracle I got in, I felt. But I thought to myself, you know what? Somebody's got to get in. why not me? It was like I had built up this confidence over time because I was shy, but I always had this affinity. And I did the theater thing and it didn't work out. But I also had MS and it was very physical. But afterwards, I mean, it broke my heart because you have a dream and it didn't pan out. I was asked to leave, so that was really hard. And but I couldn't do what other people could do
I need to
because
know.
after school, it was like 6 days a week. Pardon?
I need to know why they asked you to leave.
Well, there could be many reasons, but I mean, it was a 6 hour 6 days a week. We went for 12 hours a day. It was very physically taxing. I had MS and didn't know it. I had fatigue, seriously. So when I got home, it was it. My one day off, I was in bed all day. And that was 8 months of that. And in Montreal. And it was a challenge. I had some different views than they did. I personally felt that anyway, it doesn't matter. I left,
Mhm.
and when I left that profession, I thought I would continue. I actually thought I'd continue on, but I was so tired. I could work. I thought I'll work a job, pay for my life, then I'll do it on the side. But I found, of course, that I couldn't do anything else. Work, home, work, home. And then I started pushing people away. I went through counseling later in life and thought I pushed all people in theater away because I was embarrassed and ashamed. But it's funny because only recently, after doing the support groups, I realized it wasn't that. I remembered brain fog, I don't know what, but I remembered that it was also the MS that pushed people away for me because I was afraid. I was afraid of them dumping me, so I dumped them. But I also wasn't that person anymore. So there's my story.
I feel like it's me talking. I love this. I understand you. Yesterday, I went
Good.
to that birthday party.
Yeah.
It wasn't even, it was for someone who was turning 88 years old. And they were like, you need to go. You need to, I'm like, okay, I will go. So I went and everybody was like, eat, 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 drink, drink, drink. And I'm like, dude, and they're Portuguese. So you know how the culture is, they push it on you. And I'm like, no, I can't. And at one point, I'm starting to grab a drink just so I can hold it. And I'm
Mm.
in a chair. And then okay, I hope none of them are listening to this. And then they put a whole container of food and they put it to the side. They're like, this is for you to take home. And I'm like, I don't know if you realize, but I wheeled myself over here with my two hands.
Yeah.
Where do you want me to put it? So then here I am calling Katrina. I need you to come here and pick up this food, please. And then when she picked it up, I'm like, don't bring it to my home because she knows I'm really picky. I don't eat stuff like. Anyway, maybe I shouldn't be saying that here. Okay, saying no is hard. Yes,
That that speaks to the bigger issue of why we do things to appease other people. You,
guilt.
you took the food home. You called Katrina to take the food because you didn't want to seem rude by saying I can't, so I'm not gonna.
It was gonna be rude because
Right.
they don't understand.
Right. I understand that they don't understand, but I also understand that Terry is Terry and has to live with Terry, and so I don't know if I'm just more
I,
adept at saying I don't. Yeah, like I have to be me, and this is the me I am, and it's your job to deal with how I am because I'm fine with who I am.
it's
But
the
I don't
fact
know.
that there's an 88-year-old lady, and in my past, this has happened before where I said nah, and then the next day they end up passing, and you feel so guilty. So I'm like, you know what? I can deal with this, and I went for 10 minutes, which ended up being half an hour because push
Oh
push
no,
to
I
stay.
believe me, I would go to the
Hmm.
party, but I'm talking about the food. I would have just been like,
Can't take it.
what can I do? You know, and
Hmm. Hmm.
we we do pile a lot of guilt on ourselves based on what we think we should do for others. And it's not fair. We should ideally we should have people in our lives that understand that we are who we are and it changed. People sometimes think that things are going to stay the same forever. And that
Right.
is 100% not the case. And it puts us in a position to have to go out of our way to maintain what was. It's like when you run into a friend from high school. You immediately want to try to be the person that they remember because they remember you that way and you remember them. But there's 25 years have gone by or more. There's no way you're the same person. You don't think the same way. But here we go, right back to it.
I feel like these conversations always end up being awkward when you meet someone from the past and they find out you have some sort of
Mm-hmm.
new illness or, it's always an awkward conversation. And I feel like I need to master that. I feel like I need to know how to speak about it without turning it into an awkward conversation. I don't know how else to say that.
Time and this seems to weed out people,
Mm-hmm.
or rather, you get more honed into who you are now than then, and you get more people around you, and slowly they change. Those people from high school or something, of course, you wonder sometimes they didn't stay in, you don't stay in contact for a reason.
Yep.
You're a different person.
So my mind goes to biologically, you're not even the same person.
Mhm.
The only thing that exists of that you is your memory of that you.
Yeah.
So why are we trying to be that person? Why are we trying to fire that back up again? We've grown, we've evolved, we've learned things, we've suffered. The whole human experience has occurred between then and now. And here we are trying to be that. Easier said than done because of society and culture and family but that's what I think about. I like to meet people where they are. Um, I have friends that I haven't spoken to in a very long time, and when they reach out to me, they'll say, "Oh, we need to get together soon," and
Right.
I'll respond with, "I would really like to meet the adult you," because I don't know him or her. So that's where I go with it.
And what's the response to that?
They go, "Wow," and then it's kind of silence, and they're like, I didn't expect that."
Awkward.
Yeah, because, and that's my way of saying you remember our shared experience like I remember it, but you don't know the adult me and vice versa. And I think if we had a little more of that, it might not be so hard to try to hang out with or, to try to get together with somebody.
You make total sense because there'll be someone from my past who will find me on Facebook or whatever. And, in my mind, I'm happy. I'm like, oh my God, this guy. But I just remember what we used to do in the past and how cool that was. And it can no longer happen. So when they reach out to me, my anxiety starts. I'm like, how do I tell this guy, okay, we can keep in touch, but we're not going to be friends like we used to be. I'm not the guy I used to be. I cannot fake it anymore. I cannot, So, and it gets into this awkward, you know, situation where we talk every once in a while, and God forbid he ever invites me to meet up with him, or I'm just talking about generically someone.
I know. Yep.
There's no individual. But yeah, so I like my bubble. I'm in my bubble. Whoever I meet, whoever meshes with me in this journey, cool. We can stick together. But anyone outside my bubble, there's no more room. I'll take an application and see how it goes, and maybe I'll accept you. And yeah.
I love that there can be such a meeting of minds over such a distance.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, how you meet like-minded people through things that you're interested in, things you have in common now.
Yeah, and some of that's maturity, some of that's, you know, you grow up, you're not into the exactly the same things you were. I mean, you still like the same things, but you're not as into them as you used to be. You're not spending your energy on them because you have other things you care about now.
So true. Talking about minds and memories and things, we're talking about CBT,
I was just about to
change
say that.
this to the CBT,
Yeah.
cognitive behavioral therapy. And that I crashed an MS ambassador meeting a little bit ago, and I was really impressed. Somebody was talking about fundraising and how different. I know the MS Society, or MS Canada is has opened up the idea of fundraising to do whatever you're good at, whatever you like, and you can raise money doing that as opposed to something specific. And I thought that, and this group of people across the country, all these different ambassadors, they expressed that they don't normally meet together, and thought that would be good to collaborate more and have it be very based on people who are out in the field. And somebody said how important it was that everybody do what they're good at and bring it to the table. Somebody might not be very comfortable asking for money, but somebody, they might be really good at art or what anything, and so they use that, or they're good at doing paperwork, or really good at writing grants or something like that. And how collaboration and bringing people all together who are doing the thing that they're really good at, instead of everybody trying to be good at things that they're not and spending their time doing that. So we all do the thing that we're good at, but we decide to come together and share our shared knowledge and then build a better thing. I just really love that, and my brain is going there right now, which is why I want to get CBT going for MSers, more guided towards that, and to have more of support happening so that we can get out of these feelings like we have to live in the past or be who we were, and kind of come out from things that hold us back.
That's
You
perfect.
you did not crash the ambassador meeting. I get what you're saying.
I kind of did.
Nah, they would have been so happy for you to be there. You know, I
Fortune
know
favors the bold.
it sounds like you crashed it because you're, but no, I'm the one that sent you the link, because I know who you are, and what you did for me was amazing because I take a CBT
Yeah.
course, and you jumped onto another course 2 weeks after me, which was like really cool. Thank
Well,
you. 'Cause
it was no,
not that you did
it
it
wasn't
for me.
anything to
I
do with
know,
you.
I
Yeah,
know,
no,
I know, but it was just
it,
you
yeah.
talking about it helped me because
Well, yeah, the fact that you were doing it at the same time, and then the fact that Michelle had done it before, so we knew what we were talking about, which brought me to the idea, which I am trying to recommend, that we have check-ins. Like, I've noticed now that I'm so involved with, well, I'm so involved with support group
you're
stuff,
involved. Yes.
right? That check-ins are important. I do the CBT thing once a week. I go home, do your homework, think, sit down, and I forget. Wednesday comes.
Yeah, me
Didn't do a
too.
thing. It's like, darn, I wish I'd been reminded earlier in the week, and I would, or somebody to talk to, like, how's it going? How's it going with that? Oh, yeah, right. I should do that now. It's like, because what we're supposed to be doing is our homework to get it into our brain to help
Yeah.
us to change. So if I was having anything to do with getting it together for people with MS, I would suggest that we have at least a check-in, even if it's just a text, and that we have a support group so we can actually talk about it when we need to.
Makes total sense.
And maybe that would help CBT become more effective and be less scary for people, or hard because people can't get counselors because there's such a
Mm.
lack of professionals right now that can do that, right?
I
Yeah.
told Nick that during my CBT
Country. Yeah.
course, sorry if you,
No.
during my CBT course, I got triggered because of what they were saying and how they weren't realizing, and it's not their fault, okay? I'm not being this grump, but they weren't realizing that I'm in a chair. So they kept saying, you know, when you need to stand up, when you need to go for a walk, and they used to say stuff like that. And I'm like, do you know I'm in a wheelchair? And then I vented to Alisa, and what did you do?
I wrote them and I said, because it happened to me then. I was sitting there like, close your eyes for a minute and imagine you're walking down the street. And I was like, okay, you can say that differently. You can say, imagine you're going down the street. How that, that would be more inclusive, right? So I just wrote them and I said, could you please, because they're writing another book anyway. So they said, yeah, we'll look in, we'll send that off
That
to the people who are doing it.
is an ambassador to me. And she's not even in a chair, just so you guys know. I don't know if she has that much issues walking. She maybe does. Who cares?
I
It's
cane walk and
it,
lean. I do a lot of
yeah,
leaning.
I get it. But I appreciate you for doing that.
Thank you. I think I appreciate you for telling me stuff and sharing your experience. So then when I experience it, it's like, oh yeah, and then we build on it, right? I build on your confidence from doing a podcast and standing up in class and doing stuff and taking control of stuff. And it makes me go, hey, what's the difference between me and a person that does stuff? Oh yeah, I can do stuff all by myself. I could be a person who does stuff. So I just trying. I hope that people can do that. Anybody can do it.
Yeah. It's I've never
With some
been involved with CBT. Um, is it one-on-one or is it in a group setting?
group
Okay,
setting. Yeah.
cool.
I'm gonna after this course, I'm going to register for another one just to compare to see are they all the same or are they a little different? They should be all the same, right? They should all be comparably the same. Yes,
According to British Columbia, it has to be given by a counselor
that's right.
or a physician.
But
So, but I don't know. That's according to what this group says.
yeah,
So it has to be.
CBT should have been taught in elementary school as a child. We talked about this before, I know, but it should have been taught as, for our fundamental skills. Because now we're adults. Well, I like to think I'm an adult and don't say anything. And I think I'm like backtracking, not backtracking, but fixing the last 30, 40 years of my mental thinking,
Hmm.
not blaming my parents, but but seriously, CBT would have been really helpful to have as a fundamental skill.
Right. Just different skills, like, because it's about, did you just say you weren't familiar with it, Nick?
No, not at all.
No, I
Other than
wasn't.
what Terry talks about.
Let me just tell you something that it's
Yeah.
when you take the course, you're like, dude, this is logical stuff. I know this already. It's not that you know it or you don't know it. It's they're trying to make you put it into practice because that's how it changes you. It's silly because you're like, okay, I know I have automatic thoughts. I get angry when this guy does this. Yeah, we're just trying to adjust the way you think so you rewire your brain. I know that sounds funny,
No,
but
it's
it
not
was
funny.
proven where it rewires the way you think
Sure.
and might help reduce stress.
Oh, yeah. No, and it gives you all different ways. Like, it's like you can try this way to do this to stop you from, ruminating, or this way. Like, it gives you about 4 or 5 different methods, and they're like, whatever works for you. Just try these things. They might hopefully help you to stop getting stuck.
Gotcha. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would that I would imagine that is helpful for lots of different age people, not just adult type people.
For sure. And that's what Alisa was saying that she's going to adult type people. Thanks. And that's why Alisa was talking. That's why Alisa was talking about adjusting this course for people who have, autoimmune illnesses or for us MSers, there should be a specific CBT course.
Sure.
Or does that make sense? What were you saying? You were
Yeah.
saying something like that, like
No, and I just have to throw it that the class itself, like the website says, we're trying to reach different groups
Mhm.
or different people. And so they had actually set that out if you have any ideas. And
Yeah.
then a few other people like Teresa and Marielle, they were talking about, because she's in doing the learning stuff, teaching, what am I saying? Learning. She's helping teach with Teresa, like MS 101, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to remember the
Oh,
name as
okay.
well.
Right. And
Yeah.
so they were also asking what other things that can be brought up, like in bringing people to come and speak and things like that.
Hmm.
And so the CBT thing came up, and can we get it for MS people? Like, it doesn't need to be geared specifically, but perhaps it can be. I don't know. Does
Well,
that make sense?
I would imagine that it can be adapted, like
Yeah,
most things can be adapted, uh, specifically for the challenges and processes that MSers go through. You, I would imagine it would be something very similar to the general type of CBT, um, but by using specific examples that we come across that other people
right.
don't.
That we have an incurable illness.
Well, that's not
That's
specific just to
heavy.
Yeah, but it's not specific just to MS. Yes, that should be part
I
of it.
agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we've talked to a whole host of people that would fit that. So that would be step one, and then, or idea one, and then, going on from there.
I
And
get
then
what
all
you're
the
saying.
stuff you and I just keep talking about,
Mm-hmm.
like the
Mm-hmm.
topics we keep bringing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like, for example, does the prevalence of beaver dams, cause an increase?
Love
Uh,
that.
that's funny. Ardra from Tripping on Air.
Yeah.
She's like, I need to come on your show and talk to you guys about bacon and maple syrup. Did I say something wrong? I'm trying to remember what I said. I must have.
We'll have her back on the show and find out why
For sure.
what offense Terry caused. Maybe she'll have you turn in your Canada card
Terrible.
um, by sullying the great name of poutine.
What did I say about it? I was trying to remember. I'm not listening to the episode, but okay, we will have her back on, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Oh yeah, you guys have some amazing people come here.
Like you.
Exactly. Everyone that's on this show is amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, warriors. But thank you. I've worked on that. That's a CBT answer.
And you taught, she
Thank you.
helped
I've
me.
worked really hard
Remember?
on that.
Remember, you helped me when someone gives me a compliment instead of saying, oh, stop it, stop. Now, instead of going, I know I'm so good at it, which is the extra confident way of doing that, you say, you know what? Thanks. I worked really hard at it. Perfect answer. Thanks, Alisa.
Helping to bring our self-esteem up so we can say, no, we don't want that food from that place.
Small, one step at a time, right?
Yeah.
Yep. How has your comedy enhanced your humor in life? Has it been enhanced since you got MS, or is it basically the same? You haven't changed. I feel like I'm a
No.
lot funnier. I have a lot more material.
I like that. It's like gallows humor, right?
Exactly.
I love the gallows humor.
Exactly.
I I can tell you, as Terry would put it, my ego. Terry always talks about the ego. Um, I don't care so much about a lot of things. When it comes to me specifically screwing up, forgetting my appearance, um, it doesn't rank anymore.
That's good.
Maybe because I can dump off to well, I have MS. What do you want? Listen, I'm just happy that there are some days that I got both legs in the pants before I fell over, you know,
Yep.
or my shirt is on backwards. How about that?
How funny.
Yeah, it's like, oh, so what?
You don't even know the story, Nick. She had Elisa had her shirt on backwards once.
It was inside
That's
out.
funny.
Yeah, it was inside.
And she went to me,
I-
she's like, oh my God, my shirt's on backwards. And I'm like, oh, gotta write this down so I can shame you later.
I've found myself using the phrase, listen, worse things have happened in my life.
Right?
More often than not nowadays. I say it a lot.
What? Oh, I want to ask Nick something.
Go for it.
Okay.
What I heard you utter something in one of the podcasts about this is how I make my money by doing voice stuff. Do you do voiceover things or um like for companies or something? Did I mishear that?
Maybe I don't get paid to do anything.
You just
Um,
do voice work like for people.
I
Like
just have
that's
I just love hearing the sound of my own voice, which is why I edit the show
nice.
and Terry doesn't listen to it at all.
Yeah.
But no, I don't work. I don't do I just if people want me to, I can help them. Um and I think I cut you off there on that computer.
No, no, I just burped. Anyway,
People
but
always, sorry, go for it. Lisa, finish it up. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, did you start doing more of that since you've had MS? Like because you started doing the like the podcast and things, have you found that the because you do have that radio voice.
Oh,
So I
thank
was
Dude,
you.
like,
I was about to
did
say this. No, stop. So many people think they're complimenting me when they're like, I love your podcast, guys. You guys are a perfect duo. Nick has got the voice, and Terry's there. It's like, yo, what the hell? What the hell? I'm the loose cannon. Sorry.
Full disclosure,
I like your voice, Terry.
Oh, thank you.
Ter-
I like Terry's voice too. Full
Stop
disclosure,
it.
this show wouldn't operate to the level that it does without Terry doing most of the work behind the scenes.
Well, thank you. I
right?
try hard.
There you go. Nice.
He is constantly messaging me in a good way. We got this person. I'm talking to this person. Like, we want to talk about this. And I'm very grateful for it because I feel like the slacker of the group. I'm just like, okay, it's time to do our show, and off we
Not
go.
even, bro. Not even. Yo,
So all
pick-
you do is the voice then is what you're saying. It's like that's all you
no,
have to
no.
offer, Nick.
He's
That
humble. He's being humble. Trust me. Because of him, that guy who called me changed my life. Thanks, Brian. I love you.
um no, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help anybody who wants to do what Terry and I do. And I
Nice.
think I just emailed you not that long ago, right?
I don't think so, unless you did it today, because I emailed you and you never responded.
No, I did respond. I
What?
did, but it was not that long ago. It was like about a
Like
week ago.
today? Oh, I never got.
No, I'll have to resend it.
There you
Yeah,
go. Thank you. That's okay. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joshing ya.
look, there's over 12 million podcasts that exist in the world. Um, everybody's welcome. And I'll be glad to help anybody who wants to get started. As long as you don't steal what Terry and I do. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, you can steal it. It's fine. I probably stole it from somebody anyway. It's totally fine.
I really appreciate that you said that early on, though, in the podcast. You're like, I think everybody should have one.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
everybody should have their own podcast. I think that's like, really? It's
Yep.
like, wow.
Yep.
Because I would go through that thing, like, oh, I can't, there's so many. Why would
Yeah.
anybody, nobody's going to listen to me? Like, I don't have
That's
anything to offer, that kind of,
yeah, that's
I get it.
self-defeating talk that
yeah, yeah.
you have to go to CBT to change. I get it.
CBT to get over it. Yeah.
Yep. No,
Well,
I
And it
she
all
truly
comes together.
I truly mean it.
Mm.
I've been a teacher in a lot of professional aspects of my life, and I took pride in the fact that I was training people to be better than me and to be higher up the food chain than me.
Nice.
Not that I'm anything, I don't think of myself as anything super special, but if I'm the worst employee at the place, then we're doing really well. So that's why I always tried to train people to that level.
Wise.
And I'll do it. I'll still do it. And so anybody listening, thinking about getting into podcasting, um, hit me up on the email and we'll start chatting. I'll point you in the right direction.
Wonderful.
Be careful. It becomes a very expensive hobby very quickly.
Because of Nick, I had
I
to buy
bet.
all this equipment. My cats weren't able to eat for a couple months. I had to starve them for a bit to make the money. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I showed up. I showed up to the first group session, and Terry was like, "Look at that microphone, bro.
Dude, I said that. Remember?
Here it is. Here it is. Let me see if I can get it on camera here."
I remember saying that. I'm like, dude, you sound like someone on the radio. And he's like,
There you
thanks,
go.
buddy. Oh, that's it?
Yeah,
That's it.
whoa. That's
the-
nice. Look
That's
at
the
that,
mic that
baby.
looks like it's worth $2,000.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I
Is that
showed up
real-
with that, and he was like, "What is that?" And then we started talking, and then
And
all
I
of a
was like,
sudden he's hitting
"You
me up.
changed
Oh,
my
I bought
life."
this. I bought this. Now he's like, "I got to look at all this gear I got." I'm like, okay, here we go, Terry.
I got so
Yeah.
much gear that I gave some away, man. Do you know
Yeah,
Miranda? I
that
gave her my
happens.
mic, my old
Yep.
mic, and
Yep.
because she wanted to start a podcast, and we are all for it. Start one.
Yeah,
Love
we'll help.
that.
The more, the merrier.
We'll help out. We'll
Mhm.
help
And
you
I
get
love
it.
you guys. So when one of the things, yes, okay, I'm a junkie now. Okay, I've listened to your podcast a few times. So one of the things that you guys said early on was that like the collaboration, like I remember Terry saying something like, I never would have been able to do this without meeting you, Nick. Like it's just so that reminds me, it's like this whole thing going in my head lately is this collaboration. Like you come at it from this side and Terry comes from this side and you're together. It's like, and you make gold. It's like, yeah, it makes me go, oh wow, it's because there's things I can't do, but I think I can do some of these things, but I can't do the stuff that like Nick does, like getting it going. You've got that, whatever it is that you have, it's so awesome and it
Oh, thank you.
collaborates so well, the two of you. And it's like, that's really inspiring. So I'm like, that means I could do something like that.
You absolutely can do it. We'll help you. So if you really want to do it, we'll help you. It's not. It's for everybody. Really, it comes from the fact that I always wanted to be on the radio and never
Yeah.
pursued that. And then once I had to stop and sit and reevaluate my life, I was like, oh, now I can sit and talk forever on the internet, and everyone either will or will not listen, and it'll be totally fine. So
That's perfect.
I like attention. I like to talk. So this is perfect for me.
Hey, and it entertains. It brings joy to other people, and more than joy though too, because it brings a feeling of this feeling of relief. I can't tell you, hearing other people talk about something that has happened to you that nobody's ever said before to
right.
you. When you first hear that, it just, I don't know.
Terry gets a lot of interaction, and people will thank him for bringing up the bathroom stuff, like when the bathroom adventures and his, how crazy life can be.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, thank you to him.
And then I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just kidding. It never happened to me. No, no. But seriously, when I was hosting the support groups, it was the first time that I opened up and I saw 8 people at least in this group, at least that I could see, was like doing the head nod of like, yup, me too. And sometimes some were smiling because they're like, that's my life. And it made me feel, I was like, wow, by me opening up. And then other people were opening up, and strong people were opening up and saying, Terry, thank you so much for saying that. I go through that too. I love this group. That was my purpose. And then my vulnerability side just flourished. I was never like that. I was all ego, you know? Now I'm like, whatever. And I always do the famous, I've peed myself twice since sitting here. But I haven't, because I have an ego.
I got that on my bingo card.
Yeah,
Sorry.
My Terry bingo card.
I don't smell like pee. Okay.
Wait.
Just to get that out there.
Oh,
Nope, I don't have that one. Anyone have that one?
that's a new one. Oh,
Terrible. Well, that's all the time we have. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I would never
it could be
have
though.
met you, Nick or Alisa, or any of my other family, if it wasn't for MS, which is
Yeah.
really funny to say.
Very true.
I would never be friends with a guy like him. Did this guy beat me up in real life? I would never be friends with, you know what I'm just saying? We're all across different parts of the world, and now we're like
Yeah.
family.
I love that.
That's the point. That's
That
the
was
point.
good too. When you say that, when you say family, it's just taking that risk of saying that to people, because it is a risk. Because sometimes you don't know how people will react, but it just makes you feel, I don't know. I can only speak for myself. It makes me feel, comforted.
Good.
Makes me feel like I belong to something.
Well, you certainly do.
Until there's a cure for MS, we're done.
Then we'll all be. It would be amazing to go from being the MS Warrior support group to the MS Survivor support group. That would be amazing.
Oh, yes.
That would be unbelievable.
We could still be friends, Terry.
Yeah,
You don't have to
just-
dump us.
Nick,
We'll have
what
a
are you
whole
doing?
new podcast.
MS Survivor. I like that.
That's
I
what
like that too.
that's what
Yeah.
we're waiting on. That's what we're all hoping for.
Oh, please.
Well, it's been fantastic talking
awesome.
with you, Alisa.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Anything you want to say to your friends or family that may be listening before we check out?
I love you all so much. I know I feel like sorry.
No, you're great.
I feel like a dick now. I'm like, I love you all so much, very much. You all that I'm still with and who are in my lives. You are the people that support me. The other ones, gone. Too
Nice.
late. I have a new family now. So was that a nice thing to say or what? No, I love everybody. Everybody needs to love everybody. It's the best drug in the world.
On
Thank
that
you.
note, since we're family, I have a question to ask you. Do you got $5 for me to borrow?
It's in
right,
the mail.
Maybe next time.
No. Oh. Hurrah, loves. Thank you.
Thank you. Terry, I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Definitely. Talk to you soon, man. So check us out at 40belowzero.com. That's 4T-below-zero.com. Or feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Our email address is info@40belowzero.com. Our personal Instagram account are, for Nix, it's Nix_V713. Or for Terry, it's What's_MS. Awesome. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. We'll talk soon.